There are places in this world where time stands still, where the echoes of pain, fear, and regret never truly fade, where every crack of a floorboard, every gust of wind, might not be empty at all. Welcome to the Eastern State Penitentiary. Once a grand symbol of justice and reform, now one of the most haunted locations on Earth. Within these crumbling walls echo nearly 2 centuries of suffering, isolation, torture, madness, death, and according to many, something that still lingers. Shadow figures, disembodied voices, phantom footsteps that'll stalk you through these halls. This is more than just history. It's a living nightmare. Welcome to the Friday Night Campfire Stories. This is my series, Echoes of the Past. The series where I explore the dark history and the paranormal mysteries of the world's most haunted locations. I'm Rob, and whether you're a returning viewer or joining us for the first time, thank you for being here. We deep dive into the stories that won't rest, from true crime to ghostly legends, and spine-tingling original stories. If you love the mysterious, the eerie, and the unexplained, then hit that subscribe button and join the campfire today. Now, let's step inside, because Eastern State awaits. In the early 1800s, Philadelphia was on the cutting edge of prison reform. The idea that solitude could inspire salvation. In 1829, Eastern State Penitentiary opened its massive iron doors to the world. It was unlike anything that had ever come before. A sprawling fortress of stone and steel, designed not for punishment, but for penitence. Designed by architect John Hoviland, the prison was revolutionary. 7 long cell blocks stretched outward like spokes on a wheel, all stemming from a central hub. A layout so iconic, it would inspire over 300 prisons around the world. This wasn't just a prison, it was a statement. At the heart of Eastern State's philosophy was solitary confinement. Each prisoner was locked away in a small cell, completely alone, unable to see or hear another human being. But make no mistake, this is not the solitary confinement that we know today. It was something else. Something far more extreme. The hope was that isolation would lead to reflection, redemption. Instead, it often led to something far darker. And yet, for a time, Eastern State was considered the pinnacle of modern corrections. Even the likes of Charles Dickens visited, only to leave disturbed by what he saw. What began as an idealistic experiment in reform would soon unravel into a legacy of madness, misery, and death. Solitary confinement at Eastern State Penitentiary wasn't just isolation, it was a meticulously engineered descent into silence. Prisoners were placed alone in a small, vaulted cell with thick walls designed to muffle all sounds around them. Each cell had a single skylight, what founders called the Eye of God, meant to inspire reflection. But in reality, that sliver of light became the only company for years at a time. Prisoners wore hoods whenever they left their cells. They weren't allowed to speak, to make noise, or even to know the faces of other inmates. No visits, no letters, no human contact whatsoever. They were buried alive, in silence. This restless isolation pushed many to the brink of insanity. Some scratched messages into the walls with their fingernails. Others sat motionless for hours, days, even weeks, staring into nothing. As time passed, punishment grew even darker. The ideals of reform faded, replaced with cruel experiments in control. There was the iron gag, a vicious device that clamped the tongue and chained it to their wrist. Any movement tore the tongue. Many choked on their own blood. There was the water bath, where inmates were soaked and hung outside in freezing temperatures until ice formed on their skin. And then, the mad chair. A restraint device so tight that it cut off circulation. Inmates were left there for days, limbs sometimes left permanently damaged or even amputated. This wasn't just rehabilitation, it was torture, all hidden beneath a mask of mortality. And it said, the walls still remember. The agony that took root here didn't end with inmates' release or their deaths. It lingered. And for many, it still lingers. Within these walls, countless lives were extinguished. Some slipped away quietly, forgotten by time. Others were snatched violently, consumed by madness, rage, or desperation. Though official records are scattered and incomplete, historians estimate that hundreds of people died in Eastern State Penitentiary, from illness, from abuse, and from suicide. In the 1800s, tuberculosis and influenza swept through the prison unchecked. There was little care, no comfort. Cells became tombs. And yet, many of the prison's most disturbing deaths were not caused by disease, but by the very systems designed to reform them. As decades passed, the prison grew overcrowded. What began as a place for quiet reflection turned into chaos. By the early 20th century, solitary confinement was largely abandoned, not for mercy, but for efficiency. Cells that were created for one housed 3 or even more, and because of that, tensions exploded. Riots erupted, guards were attacked, inmates turned on each other in desperation. Violence became a daily occurrence, its echoes still trapped in the cell blocks. Some prisoners were murdered by fellow inmates. Others took their own lives. A few simply vanished, never to be seen again. Even in its final decades, Eastern State refused to release its grip on suffering. In the 1970s, after 142 years of operation, the prison was officially closed. The doors were locked, the halls abandoned, but the silence didn't return. Instead, the echoes grew louder. Since its closure in 1970, Eastern State Penitentiary has become one of the most haunted places on Earth. What was once a monument to justice has become a cathedral of the damned. Paranormal investigators, ghost hunters, and skeptics alike have all stepped inside these haunted halls, and few have left unchanged. Footsteps echo through empty corridors. Shadow figures dart between doorways. Cold spots linger in rooms with no windows. And voices, disembodied, anguished, whisper from the darkness. Visitors have even reported being touched, scratched, even shoved, despite completely alone. One guard claimed to hear screams coming from cell block 12, a cell block that hadn't had prisoners in a decade. When he went to investigate, no one was there. Many describe the cell doors slamming, keys jangling, and murmured conversations from behind the walls. Some have even seen faces staring back at them through the tiny peepholes in the iron doors. Others swear they hear crying, praying, or maniacal laughter echoing through the halls. One of the most chilling pieces of evidence captured at Eastern State comes from a 1990s television crew. While filming a segment, their cameraman saw a shadow figure run across the cell block. When they reviewed the footage, it was there, clear as day. A black silhouette, human shaped, but not human. Even seasoned paranormal teams, armed with equipment and experience, have left the prison shaken. One investigator said, "I've walked through the battlefield. I've been in active war zones, but nothing felt like Eastern State." Is it the trauma from the past bleeding through time, residual energy trapped in stone and steel, or the spirits still here, watching, waiting. Some say Eastern State is a resting place for restless souls, a prison not only of stone and steel, but of memory, and the punishments that never ended. Paranormal experts believe that the sheer emotion trauma held within these walls acted like a magnet, trapping spirits, looping moments of pain, fear, and rage over and over again. And some of those spirits we know by name. Cell Block 12 is considered the most haunted wing in the prison. Witnesses report disembodied whispers, distorted laughter, and a ghostly shadow slithering across the halls. Paranormal teams have recorded unintelligible voices and sudden cold spots that seem to follow them. Some investigators claim to feel watched constantly in this block. Others say they've been shoved or touched. But the identity of the whispering entity still remains a mystery. Cell Block 6 tells a darker tale. Guests and workers alike have heard maniacal crackling, loud and close, only to find the wing was completely empty. Some believe the cackler was once a prisoner driven insane by endless solitary confinement. Others believe it's something older, something that simply enjoys the echoes of human fear. Guards once manned the central tower, a place of observation and control. But even long after the prison closed, people have reported seeing a face peering down from the window. No tours go up there, no mannequins, no lights. So who, or what, is watching from above? One of the most commonly reported apparitions is simply known as the Shadow Man. Tall, featureless, often seen just out of sight, especially in cell blocks 4 and 14. He doesn't interact, he doesn't make a sound, but when he appears, the temperature drops, the air thickens, and cameras fail. And then there's Slick Willie Sutton, one of the most notorious bank robbers in American history, and former resident of Eastern State. Sutton wasn't just known for his crimes. He was known for his charm, his cleverness, and his incredible knack for escaping. In 1945, Sutton took part in one of the most daring escape attempts in the prison's long history. Alongside 11 other inmates, Sutton helped dig a 97-foot tunnel beneath the prison yard. They used spoons and flattened cans, working in secret for over a year, dodging guards, hitting dirt in the walls, even wiring the tunnels with electricity for light. They made it out, but Sutton's freedom was short-lived. He was recaptured just minutes later. Sutton died in 1980, years after his time at Eastern State, but some believe that he may have came back. Visitors claim to have seen a well-dressed man in 1940s clothing near the old entrance of the tunnel. Others say they hear digging sounds beneath the prison, even though the tunnel was sealed decades ago. Could it be that Slick Willie is still looking for a way out? Some believe the spirits of Eastern State are residual, echoes of the past, like a haunted record skipping. Others believe they are intelligent, aware of visitors, and angry. But whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain. Eastern State Penitentiary is not empty. The walls remember. Eastern State Penitentiary is more than just a relic of the past. It's a mirror. A mirror reflecting the darkest corners of human nature. Our need to punish, our thirst for order, and the eerie silence that follows along after the suffering ends. It began as a vision of reform, of rehabilitation through isolation, but it became something else entirely. A place where the silence screams louder than any riot. Today, its crumbling walls still stand, echoing with footsteps that no longer belong to the living, whispers from the forgotten, and shadows that seem to wait. For the next brave soul enough to listen, whether you believe in ghosts or not, Eastern State forces you to ask, what lingers after a place has seen so much pain? Is it memory? Is it spirit? Or is it something far, more terrifying. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the haunted halls of Eastern State Penitentiary. If you're new here, this is the Friday Night Campfire story, where I post 3 full-length videos every week, along with shorts every other day that I'm not posting the full-length videos. Be sure to subscribe and join the Campfire today for weekly episodes of the paranormal and original stories crafted just for you. And if you can't get enough of the darkness, my latest book, A Perfect Journey Through Villainous Eyes, is available now on Amazon. It's a twisted dive into the minds of the wicked, perfect for those who crave the stories that disturb and linger. Pick up your copy today and take that journey with me. Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and never forget, some echoes never fade. As always, thank you for spending a little bit of your evening here with me. Hey everyone, I know I just did the outro, but I noticed something when I was editing this video that you just watched, something that you guys didn't see because there was a picture over top of it. And it's probably nothing, but it's also very strange that it happened during this intro of the video. I've never seen it happen before, and I'm sure there's a logical explanation. I'm never the one to jump in and be like, oh, this is definitely paranormal, but this is very weird sighting. It looks like some sort of orb goes across the screen. Like I said, I'm sure it's dust, although I try to keep my stuff very clean. But anyway, I thought I'd just share it with you guys because it's a very strange thing. So anyway, I'm going to play it for you guys, and then I'll see you guys next time. Might not be empty at all. Welcome to the Eastern State Penitentiary. Might not be empty at all. Might not be empty at all.